Welcome you all. In this session, we will learn about single phase dual converter. In my previous video, we have learned about single phase semi-converter and single phase fully controlled converter, wherein the single phase semi-converter we had considered with the freewheeling diode, which provided a single quadrant operation, whereas the single phase full bridge converter without a freewheeling diode provided us with a two quadrant operation. Now if we want to have a four quadrant operation, we need to go for full converters, two full converters connected back to back. So this in turn gives us a dual converter. So you can observe here this circuit is a dual converter wherein we have two full bridge configurations. This is the first full bridge configuration. This is the second full bridge configuration. So this name is converter 1. This is converter 2, which is called as a dual converter. This gives us a four quadrant operation. So these dual converters are normally used in high power variable speed drives. So we name the firing angle for converter 1 as alpha 1 and converter 2 firing angle as alpha 2, whereas the average output voltage for the converter 1 is VDC1, whereas the average output voltage for converter 2 is VDC2. So the delay angles of these converters are controlled in such a way that when this converter operates as a rectifier, the other converter should operate as an inverter. That means if converter 1 operates as a rectifier, converter 2 should operate as an inverter. But both the converters should produce the same average output voltage. Okay, that means we have already derived the average output voltage for a full converter. What was it? It was 2 Vm by pi cos alpha. So if we consider for this one, it will be 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 1. So before going to what is the average output voltage, let us see the waveform of this. So the load assumed is inductive. The output voltage is V0. The output voltage due to converter 1 is V01 and due to converter 2 is V02. So you can observe the polarity here of the output voltages, and this is called as the circulating current. The circulating current is required in order to limit the current which is flowing through the load. Okay. Now if you observe this waveform, the supply voltages for both is AC, right? And this waveform we have already seen in the case of full converter. It is the same output voltage and the same circuit working. Now if we apply the reverse of it, that is alpha 2. Alpha 2 is the firing angle for converter 2. So if you observe here, pi minus alpha 1 is alpha 2. That means to say this alpha 1, alpha 2 is alpha 1 plus alpha 2 should be equal to pi. That means our alpha 2 is nothing but equal to pi minus alpha 1. Okay. So that is our alpha 2. So this is the output of the converter 2. It will operate in the same way as converter 1 is operated. So club together this, the output through the load is V01 plus V02. V01 plus V02. So this is V01, this is minus V02. So club together we get this is the output voltage. Now we have seen the output voltage, average output voltage for a full converter, which is given by VDC equal to 2 Vm by pi cos alpha. Now for a converter 1, for converter 1, we can write it as VDC1 is equal to 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 1, whereas for converter 2, we can write it as VDC2 is equal to 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 2. And I have already told you, when one converter is operating as a rectifier, the other converter should operate as an inverter. That means our VDC1 will always be equal to minus VDC2. Okay, or we can say that 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 1 is equal to minus 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 2, or we can write cos alpha 1 is equal to minus cos alpha 2, or we can say that our cos alpha 1 is equal to cos of pi minus alpha 2, or what is alpha 1? Alpha 1 is pi minus alpha 2, or alpha 2 is pi minus alpha 1, nothing but alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 total is equal to pi. So, since the instantaneous output voltage of the two converters are out of phase, there will be a voltage difference, and this voltage difference will result in a circulating current between the two converters. So, in order to limit this circulating current, we consider the circulating current reactor. That is what we have seen, LR. So, it is split into two. Now, if we consider that V01 and V02 are the instantaneous output voltage, instantaneous output voltages of converter 1 and converter 2, then the circulating current it can be found by integrating the instantaneous voltage difference starting from omega t equal to 2 pi minus alpha 1. Okay, we can say that the instantaneous circulating current IR will be 0, because our two average output voltages, that is from any interval pi plus alpha 1 to 2 pi minus alpha 1, it will be equal and opposite. So, you can observe the waveform. If you observe the waveform, we can say that our circulating current will almost be equal to 0. So, we will write IR equal to 1 by omega LR integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t VR d omega t. So, IR is equal to 1 by omega LR integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 omega t. VR is nothing but instantaneous sum of the instantaneous output voltages V0 plus 1 plus V0 2. So, this is IR 1 by omega LR into 2 pi minus alpha 1 integral omega t. V0 1 we have observed, if one is positive, the other one will be negative. So, this is V0 1 d omega t plus integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 up to omega t V0 2 d of omega t. So, if one is operating as a rectifier, the other one will operate as an inverter. So, this we can write it as 1 by omega LR. Okay, V0 1 is Vm sin omega t if it is operating as a rectifier. So, we can write it as integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 omega t minus Vm sin omega t. V0 will be negative. So, I write this as minus integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t Vm sine omega t d omega t. It also d omega t. So now this, it becomes IR equal to Vm by omega Lr integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t minus sine omega t d of omega t minus integral 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t sine omega t d of omega t. So this sine omega t integral is minus cos omega t. So minus into minus becomes plus. So I write this as Vm by omega Lr into cos omega t 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t minus integral of sine omega t is minus cos omega t, minus into minus becomes plus. So this is cos omega t 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t. So if you see this, both are same. So I can write this as IR equal to Vm by omega Lr into 2. Whatever we get, it will be sum. So 2 cos omega t 2 pi minus alpha 1 to omega t limits we have to apply. So we get IR is equal to Vm by omega Lr into 2 into cos omega t limits. If we apply it as cos omega t minus cos of 2 pi minus alpha 1, right? So this becomes IR equal to 2 Vm by omega Lr into cos omega t. Cos 2 pi minus alpha 1 is cos alpha 1. So this becomes minus cos alpha 1. So this is the instantaneous circulating current. So the instantaneous circulating current, it depends on the delay angle or the firing angle alpha. So if alpha 1 is equal to 0, if alpha 1 is equal to 0, its magnitude becomes, for alpha 1 equal to 0, its magnitude becomes minimum when omega t equal to n pi, where n is 0, 2, 4, etc. This is minimum value. And it becomes a maximum. If alpha 1 equal to 0, we get maximum value for omega t equal to n pi, where n is equal to 1, 3, 5, etc. So if the peak load current is IP, one of the converters that controls the power flow may carry a peak current which is equal to IP plus 4 Vm by omega Lr. So the dual converters can be operated with or without a circulating current. In case of operation without circulating current, only one converter will operate at a time and it carries the load current, and the other converter is completely blocked. Okay, so if we operate with the circulating current, then both the converters operate simultaneously. That is what I have told you, you get a 4-quadrant operation. When one converter is operating as a rectifier, the other will operate as an inverter. So with the circulating current, if we operate, we will get the some of the advantages. That is, the circulating current, it maintains continuous conduction of both the converters for a full range of supply, which is independent of the load. And since one converter operates as a rectifier and the other converter operates as an inverter, the power will flow in either direction at any time. That means either from supply to the load or from load to the supply. And the time response for changing from one quadrant operation to the another will be faster if we go for a circulating current operation. So we can go for a dual converter operation when we need to operate at a high power and at a variable speed. So this is the advantage of having a dual converter. So next video we'll see about the three-phase converter. Thank you.